Welcome to the Black Men Runs Healthy Brotherhood Experience podcast. I am your co-host, Lucia Boyd, out of the D, and that's Detroit. And I also have my co-host here out of the ATL, Mr. Hell himself, JT in the house. What's up, JT?
What's up, Lou?
And today we have our special guest for part 2. We got Bryan Castleberry, and he's out of the Detroit area also. Welcome, Castleberry.
Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be back for the second episode. So pleasure to be here.
Part 2 with Mr. Castleberry. So, Brother Castleberry, let's just dive on into it. In part 1, we talked about Bryan Castleberry, who is he pre-SLT. We covered all of that in part 1. Part 2, we want to talk about your role on the SLT. What is the SLT senior leadership team? For those who may not know, Bryan, give us the bio. What is that?
Okay, yeah. I think for most of us who know co-founder Edward Walton, more affectionately known as CMO, he talks about BMR being the race car, and how we want the race car to go faster. And essentially the SLT, or the senior leadership team of Black Men Run, is that governing body that's helping the race car go faster. And it's comprised of 8 members that have our respective roles that we focus on to be able to help that race car go faster. So I'll just kind of give at least a brief introduction to the SLT, who's on it, and kind of what we do. So, of course, we have Edward Walton and Jason Russell, who are both our co-founders for Black Men Run. And Brother Walton is also the CEO for Black Men Run, in addition to being the CMO, Chief Motivational Officer, or at least the outgoing CMO for Black Men Run, and also co-founder. Then, in addition to Ed and Jason, there is myself. I currently serve as the Chief Operating Officer and Director of Strategic Partnerships for Black Men Run. We have, of course, co-host here, James Hale, who is our National Vice Captain and Director of Communication, who's out of Atlanta, Georgia. We have Daryl Randall, who's also a part of the Healthy Brotherhood podcast. Daryl is the National Vice Captain and Director of Technology, and he's based in Detroit, Michigan. We have Alan Noel, who is National Vice Captain and Treasurer for the SLT, and he is out of the BMR North New Jersey chapter. We have Jeff Armstrong. Jeff is our international captain, or national captain and director of chapter success, chapter engagement, and chapter onboarding. And Jeff is out of Denver, Colorado. I don't think I missed anybody.
Michael Stinson.
Oh, of course. Last but not least, Brother Michael Stinson, who is the current co-CEO, and Michael was previously national captain and COO, and he is out of New Jersey, but initially BMR Philadelphia, their founding captain there. So that's the SLT as a whole. Again, I serve as the Chief Operating Officer and Director of Strategic Partnerships. And just kind of for perspective, again, we're a governing body. I think a lot of people kind of get confused as far as who does what. So the way I would kind of describe it is if you think of a Black Men Run chapter, you have your captain, your head captain, and then you have kind of like your vice captains. So, all of those guys, all of our chapters fall under Brother Jeff Armstrong, who's our current national captain. And Jeff is a part of the senior leadership team. And then myself as COO, I guess I kind of manage or lead the SLT And then, of course, we all kind of fall under hierarchy-wise under the CEO roles, which would be, again, Captain Stinson and CMO. So I like to kind of say bigger picture for those who are listening or who are watching. As COO, my role is a more so kind of focus on the now and the near directionally as far as where Black Men Run is going, and CMO and Captain Stinson are focused on, kind of like the far, as far as where we're looking to go, years down the road.
Awesome. You're also a former national captain, for those who don't know. So your role is somewhat new, revised from that. Now that Jeff is national captain, Jeff is actually our new CMO as well.
That's correct. Yep. The incoming
CMO.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So I'm excited. I'm excited to see that.
That's awesome, man. So Director of Strategic Partnerships. Let's talk about that. What does that mean?
Good question. Good question. So I know in our previous interview, I talked about, my role with being the captain of Black Men Run Detroit. And so when I initially joined the SLT here, I was asked by CMO, Brother Edward Walton, to join the SLT and kind of lead strategic partnerships. So for those who don't know, I know Saucony is probably our premier partner for Black Men Run, but we also have, let's see, Destination Marathons, who's a partner. We have the Civil Rights Race Series. I think most of the people who are part of the Selma to Montgomery relay race and bike ride that we do every March. That race is put on by the Civil Rights Race Series. And let me just double check and make sure I don't miss anybody here. So I have my phone here to kind of help me get everything. And then, of course, we have vacation races, and vacation races basically kind of puts on various races at U.S. national parks. And so I'll say that, behind Saucony, they're probably our second largest partner. So we're actively expanding what we're doing with them too. And then we have a host of other sponsors that I think over time that may form into partnerships.
And why are these partners important? What actually does that mean to partner with Black Men Run?
So I think again when CMO or Brother Walton, when he talks about the race car going faster, essentially our partners are helping us do that, right? So I think most of us know Saucony. They know about the shoe that they've designed for us. I think a lot of the fish sandwiches that, Brother Walton or Alley Oops that National Captain Jeff Armstrong are providing to, captains, vice captains, other members, it's our partners that are helping us being able to fund some of those gifts, right? I think for those who were part of the national meetup and 10-year celebration in Atlanta here last month, similarly, like a lot of the stuff that was kind of provided to us and to help us do that were a part of the partnerships for Black Men Run. So a lot of the behind the scenes stuff, there's a lot of behind the scenes activity that happens that the SLT is a part of, whether it's the races that we do across the country, whether it's the products that guys buy through our partners, whether it's, again, some of the gifts that people are provided just from some of their service leadership that they do within the chapters. It's our partners that allow us to be able to do those things.
That's awesome. Very awesome. That is one of the reasons some of the guys may not know, but from time to time it may come up with various chapters. This particular entity wants to partner up with a local chapter, be it another sportswear company, I'll say loosely. And the reason that we actually ask chapters not to do that is because we're already partnered up with someone, soccer. So it doesn't make sense for us to come and promote another brand. It's like marrying somebody, Keisha over here, but then we're gonna go and promote Susan and everything that she's doing. Keisha's looking at like Okay, I thought we had something going on here. It doesn't work out well.
Oh, we had something going on. No, exactly. I mean, I think what the SOT has always said, and I'm kind of directing this more towards our chapters, but I think most chapters kind of have their local relationships that they may have, right? Having group runs at the different stores, or when you do various kind of get-togethers with you guys, you may go to a certain restaurant or something along those lines. But we always say that if you have any questions about any of that, to always kind of reach out to the senior leadership team, because what you never want is you don't want something that you're doing locally to damage what we're trying to do nationally. And honestly, I didn't really appreciate that until I joined and became a member of the SLT. So I tell anybody, I've always done this, even when I was the captain for Detroit. I always made it a priority to have coaching sessions with Brother Walton and Brother Jason from day one of my time with BMR. So they always knew what we were doing here locally in my chapter, being Detroit, Michigan, to help the larger race car go faster, right? And I tell this to captains all the time, and I think a lot of our members here locally in Detroit are getting this too, right? That everything that we should be doing at a local level should be helping the national race car of Black Men Run go faster, bar none, right?
That's right.
I think as we always say, I think it's kind of said, I think sometimes tongue in cheek, that we're not a run club, we're a social network of impact and influence. I just want to say, for those who are listening, I mean, this is an organization that is comprised of over 50 chapters across 30 states and 4 countries outside of North America. There's no other running club that's doing what we're doing in Black Men Run. So as we continue to level up, right, and whether it's expanding chapters, whether we're expanding our reach and footprint across the world, we just need to make sure that the relationships that we're cultivating line up with what we're doing nationally.
That's right. That's right. What you think, Lucia?
Amen. Amen. He's preaching the gospel.
He's preaching the gospel. All things work for the better good of the entire organization.
Yes, sir.
Right?
Yeah. I don't think there's any local running store that's going to say, "Hey, we'll give you a local BMR chapter shoe," right?
Yeah, I don't see that happening. No.
Or
And
even some of the things.
Are we the first one in the organization to have our own running shoe?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Thanks to Saucony. That's the first shoe. That is the current shoe. They're loving the current shoe. I haven't worn mine yet. Partnerships, very important to this organization. It definitely makes this race car go faster and faster. I think one of the benefits of guys coming down to Atlanta for the 10th anniversary and national meetup, remember it was 2 events in one, you really get to see how much larger this organization is outside of your chapter. For a lot of guys, that was their first time seeing, well, dang, this is more than just this city and this state, this city and that state. We kind of like a whole, not just a nation, but global. And the partners definitely help with that. So speaking of partners, Castleberry, can we talk about 2024? Is it too early to talk about 2024 and a certain partner, or should we hold off on that?
Not at all. Not at all. Not at all.
Vacation races.
That's right. Shout out to Salem Stanley. I know he was previously a part of the Healthy Brotherhood podcast here.
Yes. Jordan.
So yeah. and I know a few people. I know he kind of shared a little bit about himself and how the relationship came along here with Black Men Run. But yeah, back in 2020, you know, Salem reached out to myself, and he reached out to Brother Rafael Ortiz, and Brother Rafael Ortiz was previously on the SLT. He was a national vice captain and director of marketing at the time. And Salem reached out. He said, hey, I'm a white guy. I live in Utah. Um, I've I want to diversify the sport, and I want to work with you guys to do it. I don't know what I don't know, and I just really appreciated his candor and his authenticity. And I think for those of us who've been blessed to meet Salem, what you see is what you get. I mean, he's an open book. I think that was pretty clear when he was on the Healthy Brotherhood podcast here about a month or so ago. And so just over the years, I mean, we've put on some really great collaborations with Salem. Back in 2021, I know that the three of us were able to go down to the Great Smoky Mountains in Tennessee and launch the Black Men Run Knoxville chapter under the leadership of Captain Philip Tucker.
Yep.
I know for a lot of us, that was our first time really being able to experience a vacation races event. I think the prior year, we went out to Estes Park, Colorado, and the Black Men Run Colorado chapter. Shout out to Captain Raheem Sisson and National Captain Jeff Armstrong for their leadership with doing that. But we were able to be a part of the Rocky Mountain 5K and half marathon out there in Estes Park. And a similar experience, but a different part of the country. And I know this year we had a handful of chapters. And again, shout out to National Captain Jeff Armstrong and Captain Raheem Sisson and BMR Phoenix Captain and Chapter of the Year recipient, Captain of the Year recipient Jay Tinsley for their work with putting on the Yosemite half marathon out there in California. So as far as 2024, what it looks like with vacation races, we are going to have 2 regional meetups that we're going to do with vacation races. The first is going to be in July. That's going to be at the Mount Rainier National Park in Washington State. That's a 5K and a half marathon. And I know that we're going to have several captains that's going to be a part of that. Captain Armstrong is going to kind of run point with that, but Captain Sisson of Denver and Captain Tinsley of Phoenix and Captain Fulcrum of Seattle are going to be the committee with putting on that race on behalf of Black Men Run. And then in September, we're going to do something similar on the East Coast. And this time we'll be in Shenandoah National Park in Virginia. And it'll be, in that case, Captain Terrell White of Hampton Roads, Captain Stanley Brayborn of Richmond, Captain Maurice Jenkins of Baltimore, and Vice Captain Lamar Cousins of BMR Charlotte. They're going to be a part of the planning committee with that. And so what we hope to accomplish is just to continue to expose more of our members to the phenomenal experiences that come with vacation races. I'll ask you guys, I mean, the two of you have been a part of it. How was your experience with vacation races?
Lucier?
Epic, epic, epic. It was the first time I was able to meet up with brothers that were not from Detroit chapter. And I was able to meet this young man over here, JT Hale. We had a great time. JT Hale was my cook. He was my she chef. What they call it? She chef.
Sous chef.
Shoe chef. Yeah, I'm jacking it all up, man. We had fun. He makes everybody that's listening, if you want some good grits, JT makes the best grits this side and the other side of the Mississippi River. Them grits was on point.
Believe it.
and brother boy, I want to give you your kudos too, because for both the Smoky Mountains race in Tennessee, in addition to the Rocky Mountain event that we went to in Colorado, you made breakfast for everybody that was there each of the days. And then, Brother Walton, our outgoing CMO, I got to get used to saying that, made dinner. I mean, we have some phenomenal cooks within this brotherhood. So it's nice to be able, like you guys said, to have multiple brothers from multiple chapters from across the country to be able to fellowship. So I'm gonna put it out there. I was texting Captain Armstrong last night. I think realistically we can have 50 guys at Mount Rainier, in July,
I
and
see.
and I'm hoping that we could focus on maybe about 75 to 100. So I'm gonna put it out there in existence,
That's
that we can.
powerful.
Very, very. I mean, so we've come from humble beginnings as far as what we've done, but even though we've had the humble beginnings, the spirit, as you guys know from
Mm-hmm.
these races, I mean, there's nothing like it.
Nothing like it.
So, yeah,
It's a great time for me when we did the Great Smoky. As you know, I signed up at the last minute.
that's right.
I signed up at the last minute. Ed kind of convinced me. I'm like, all right, I'll do it. Had a great time, man. Meeting the Detroit brothers I hadn't met before, Lucier and Romero, and got a chance to meet Manis. He was there. Will White, aka Worldwide Will. That's the nickname I gave him. Plus CMO and myself, and meeting Phil. It was great. We also saw Demo. For those who know Demo, the brother that runs in the kilt. That's DL Dean out of Iowa. We call him Demo. He was there. He does a lot of races where he is a pacer. But the experience, man, just getting to intimate setting for the brothers, a great chance to bond, meeting Lucier. If you meet Lucier, it's like you've all he don't meet no strangers. I call him the unofficial mayor of Detroit. He really is the official mayor of Detroit. The Detroit mayor is the unofficial mayor of Detroit. This dude is the mayor of Detroit, but he's got that kind of spirit where you just feel like you have always known this guy. We had it was just it was a good bonding time. And I look forward to doing it again. I do plan on going to Shenandoah Valley. I won't be able to do Mount Rainier because once again it's a family reunion, which is why I missed Denver the last time. Family reunion we do every other year. I highly encourage any of you brothers interested or think you are kind of teetering on maybe not. Uh, do at least one of them. Do at least one. Whether you know any of the brothers or not, you'll know them once you get there, and you're gonna leave with, hey, lifetime
Life,
associations,
lifelong friends when you leave there.
brothers, for
Yeah,
sure,
lifelong brothers.
for sure. That's what this brotherhood is about. The race was great. I was relieved to know that it was all on the road and not running through the woods, leaping over logs, knocking branches out of the way, fighting lions and tigers and bears and all that stuff. There are bears out there though. So that's the thing with the trails. But this wasn't a trail at all. It was really all on the road. And so different experience. I'm used to running in the city. I like running in the city. I like city lights. I like civilization. But
And it's nice too, Captain
different.
Hale, because I feel like each experience that we've done, the chapter that's kind of hosted the larger brotherhood has always kind of like upped it up a little bit. So I know after the Smoky Mountains, again we went out to the Rocky Mountain half marathon. This is actually the medal for it. So I know that for those who kind of watch this on YouTube or who's able to actually watch the video, you'll be able to see it. Those who won't, obviously, you won't be able to see it. But this is the medal. It's a huge, huge
Yes.
medal. So
Heavy.
the cool thing for those who like bling is that when you do these events, and this happened for both, I was not able to attend Yosemite. That was my wedding anniversary weekend. So for domestic tranquility purposes, I didn't go. But for the races that I've been a part of, Black Men Run uh, has, you get a 5K medal for completing the 5K. You get a half marathon for completing the half marathon. You get a third medal for completing both, and then Lucier is showing you the medal that she got from doing both the 5K and the half at the Smoky Mountain. These two medals that I'm showing you now are what Black Men Run got for both the Smoky Mountains race and the Rocky Mountain, because we took first overall for the 5K, the half marathon, for both races at both events. And I hope that moving forward, we will continue to do exactly that. So just for those of you who are more of our competitive runners, or for those who just love medals, I mean, potentially you can walk away with 5 medals. And in actuality, in this case for 2024, 6, because we're going to design a Black Men Run Vacation Races medal designed to be released here over the coming months, that you'll have for either completing the Mount Rainier race or the Shenandoah race in 2024. So that's what's to expect for that. And then we have some more surprises kind of coming down the pike too for vacation races.
All right, we won't spoil the surprises then. We'll save a little something for later.
Always.
Something for later, man.
You know?
That's amazing. That's amazing. And so I don't think we've done much with destination marathons. I know they gave away some prizes at the 10th celebration. So we got a couple of recipients that will be taking advantage of the destination marathon prizes, which is a different experience than vacation races.
There is. I'll just add one more thing to the vacation races piece, and this is for those who either attended the 10-year anniversary and national meetup in Atlanta last month, or for those who attended the national meetup in Detroit, Michigan the year prior. So vacation races that we were just talking about earlier, they raffled off 3 prizes. They gave, I think the first prize was comp code and experience to any one of their races here in the United States, again in a U.S. national park. They had a second raffle and prize for their Trail Fest, which is roughly about $1,000 to be a part of. And that's essentially 3 races that you do over the course of 3 days. And again, you get 3 medals for that. But some lucky recipient won that raffle at both national meetups here over the past 2 years. That's roughly about a $2,000 prize right there. It's that person plus somebody else. And then the other thing with vacation races is that they also have global adventures. I know we do have, BMR brothers and members that like to travel internationally as well to do different races. So for those who may have that itch to go abroad and not necessarily do a world major, in this case of vacation races, they have races anywhere from Japan to Belize to Croatia, all throughout Europe, Asia, and they're working actually on Africa as well. So I think as we kind of develop more of our footprint with them here in the United States, I think we're going to also look and see, hint, hint, what's in store for doing things internationally as well. So I just wanted to touch on that, Brother JT and Brother Lucier, before talking about, destination marathons. But I guess regarding destination marathons, I would say it's more of a niche partner. So they do a lot of events at various marathons. So I think for those who want a true first class experience without having to do all the planning themselves, you want to go run Boston, you want to go do the Boston Marathon, or if you want to go do the Grandma's Marathon in Minnesota, which I know that we have quite a few people this year. They're going to be traveling up to Duluth, Minnesota to do that. That's one of our regional races as well. Destination marathons will essentially do all the planning for you. First class experience the whole way around. I know there's been several of our competitive or BMR to the podium guys that have traveled with destination marathons. I believe our captain, Ray Smart, there out of London, is one of their ambassadors for the London Marathon with destination marathons. And again, heard of a lot of phenomenal things with Destination Marathon. So just something to consider as well with that one.
The VIP experience.
Living the dream.
Living a dream. Right. Absolutely. Truly VIP experience.
Lucille, have you done a Destination Marathon before?
No, I haven't done the Destination Marathons. I would love to do one of those.
Yeah. Well, where would you like to go and do it?
I was thinking that Duluth sounds real nice. That's the grandma's, right?
That's grandma's, yeah.
I hear a lot of good things about that one in Southeast Michigan amongst the running community here.
Yeah, Minnesota. What time of the year is that? Is that like early in the year, I think?
I believe, if my memory serves me correctly, it's more kind of like late summer to early fall. I would need to double check.
Oh, okay. Yeah, cool. Because Minnesota, wintertime, I'm thinking, I don't know. I don't know. It's below zero, but that's summertime, fall, so that's probably a good time. That's great. Castleberry, also in your role as director of strategic partnerships, can you share with us if BMR is looking to partner with anyone else at this time? Is there any other entities on your radar?
Yes. So I know that we've been doing a little bit of flirting, I'll say, with features. I know, again, for those who were a part of the 10-year anniversary and national meetup in Atlanta, features actually provided us 2,500 pairs of socks. So anybody in attendance there at the 10-year received a pair of their socks. So we've been in talks with them about what that looks like. It's nothing official right now. We're still kind of like in the discussion phases of that, but it's promising. The other partner, I would say that we're doing more of a pilot partnership with them right now in selective markets. Certain BMR chapters would be REI. So one of the areas of focus that we have going into 2024 for Black Men Run is going to be around the spaces of trail running. Mm-hmm. And looking to be more strategic as far as what partnerships and relationships that we have that allow us to do that. So I think we have, I want to say, roughly 12 to 13 Black Men Run chapters across the country. They're going to be a part of that pilot. So the captains and vice captains in those chapters already know who they are. They're kind of working on that stuff right now. I believe Atlanta in your case, JT, or Lucille, or Detroit in yours, are two of the chapters that are part of that pilot. So more information forthcoming on that one.
More to come. And I think that's Jay Tinsley and Rob Palmore are heading up the trail running.
Yeah, they're gonna more so kind of focus on our trail running initiatives as far as what we do. So I know they've been interviewing and selecting Black Men Run trail running ambassadors for across the country to help promote trail running to the larger Brotherhood. REI is going to be more kind of handled on my end with the partnerships piece. So there may be a little bit of overlap with that one, but that'll be myself and most likely Jay helping me with that with REI.
I know one thing that CMO always says to us in the roles in which we support BMR is that he doesn't want this to seem like work. When it gets to the point that it feels like work, he doesn't want you to do it. I think we're all passionate about and enjoying what we're doing in our individual roles. Can you tell us what you really enjoy about the position that you're currently in?
I mean, to be honest, I had no idea that CMO, Brother Walton, was going to ask me to join the SLT. I think most of us on who are listening to this know the story with Brother Jason Russell a few years back when he had his stroke and an aneurysm. Mm-hmm. And I think it's really during that time for CMO, Brother Walton, where he just wanted to, kind of get some additional help with, again, helping the race car go faster. Um, Lucier has known me for years, even locally here in Detroit. So, I mean, a lot of what I do in partnerships, I was doing it honestly locally here in Detroit before joining the SLT. So I enjoy it. I love thinking about big picture items and activities. I'm a strategy guy. I love being able to kind of be a part of helping the Black Men Run race car go faster. I appreciate, the trust that CMO has had with me for years to be able to do that. And JT, you're SLT too. So I mean, we do work. I mean, we do a lot of work, but we
Work.
have a lot of fun in the process. I know that at least once a year we get together as a group. We've been blessed to go down to Nashville the last 2 years and talk about Black Men Run, to do a lot of things outside of our meetings and things like that, some of which I won't share right now.
Thank you.
No problem. But it's an amazing experience. It really is.
It is.
Again, I mean, we're all passionate about what we do.
Mm-hmm.
We're all kind of good at what we do, but at the same time, I know that if I need help, I can kind of pick up the phone and say, "Hey, Captain Hale, I need your help with this," or "Can you give me some thoughts on what you think about partnerships?" And likewise with you, with the amazing work that you're doing with this podcast and some of the other things that you're doing in your role as a national vice captain and director of communication.
I appreciate that, because like you, I did not expect to be asked to be a part of SLT. I was enjoying being captain of the Atlanta chapter. I was working on year number 5. I was 4.5 in before a certain person out of Detroit kind of plucked me.
Who would have done that? I wonder who this person is.
And I know CMO, he had mentioned it before, and I was thinking to myself, I'm really enjoying, I really did. The Atlanta chapter brothers, they really make being captain an enjoyable, fun effort. Such support, encourage. We are a really tight knit group, and Mark is taking over. He's doing a great job, continuing on. He has my support as well. And so I wasn't really sure when I joined the senior leadership team. I'm like, why do they want me? I'm not an IT guy like Dariel. I'm not accounting and finance like Alan Noel. I didn't know what, I'm like, I don't have anything. I don't have any specialty. And Mr. Castleberry here, the thinker, the planner, he already had something in mind. I think you and Daryl both had something in mind for me. And it just seems to work out.
It's funny how the good Lord knows our talents. And I think sometimes we don't, I'll speak for myself, we don't necessarily see the talent within ourselves that others see within us. And kind of similar to you, because I didn't think I would be asked to join SLT as well. And if I'm being honest, even when I was asked, I still wanted to remain a captain. And I think one of the things that CMO, again, Brother Walton in this case, kind of said to me is that, Castleberry, I need you to focus on helping me guide the race car nationally of Black Men Run. I think sometimes as a captain, we're so focused on our chapters,
right.
We're so focused on our guys,
right.
that we don't necessarily see again that this is an organization and an enterprise. And the work that we're doing on the SLT is what's helping a lot of these chapters continue to do what they do. And I think fortunately, when we have experiences like Atlanta, JT, or Lucier, Detroit the year prior, I think more of our guys are starting to kind of see that, right? And I'll just kind of say lastly, right? I think we all recognize now within our tenure in Black Men Run that this organization is much bigger than any of us individually, right?
Definitely.
And a lot of And a lot of what we're doing is going to have an impact for decades to come, right? I mean, so I just remember JT being in Nashville, hearing you say, "Hey, I would love the idea of having a podcast." And Daryl, I saw his face, right? Like, let's talk. And even without Daryl saying anything, I knew he was going to reach out to Sire, right? And just what we have here. And again, we've been blessed to have Lucia right in our back pocket, right? Everybody knows and loves Lou.
That's what we
is
do.
what I say. But again, right? I mean, we have so many acres of diamonds of talent in this organization. I feel like this podcast wouldn't be what it is without the two of you. So just how you say about Alan being the finance guy, Daryl being the tech guy. I think we all would say the same thing to the two of you. We can't do podcasts, not like you guys. I mean, you what you're doing is truly phenomenal.
We just like to talk. Right, Lucire? We just like to talk. And for those who don't know, Lucire already had a podcast and still has his own podcast called Hanging with Lucire. So be sure to check that out as well.
Let me just say that prior to Hanging with Lucire, Brother Lucire had a podcast prior to that with Running the Dream.
See, look at that.
So I mean, this has been destined for Brother Boyd for years in the past. So everything full circle.
I just been practicing a bunch of episodes.
Yeah, but it's great that we're all enjoying doing what we're doing. I definitely see, Bryan, your passion for the organization and all that you do, man. I will just say on behalf of the entire Brotherhood, yes, I'm speaking for the entire Brotherhood. Thank you for all that you do.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yes, thank you.
Castleberry, he's grinding a lot sometimes. His wheels constantly turning,
All the time.
You probably see it all the time, Lou, because you're right there.
Yeah, he can think about 10 different things in one sentence.
Bryan will call me with the intention to tell me maybe one or two things. 2.5 hours later, we're still talking, but we don't even realize how much time has gone by. We just, we have a great rapport as well. So, where are we at on time, man? We got a few more minutes, Castleberry. Anything else you want to share with the Brotherhood, man?
You know what? I definitely want to give a shout out to the Civil Rights Race Series. I know we talked about Saucony. We talked about, vacation races. I'll say for the Civil Rights Race Series, I think most of the Brotherhood is familiar with the Selma to Montgomery relay race and bike ride, which is held in March every year. And with the Civil Rights Race Series, or CRRS for short, their desire is to really tell civil rights history in places that don't necessarily get a lot of foot traffic, right? So the significance with the Selma to Montgomery relay is that for those who've been a part of it, or for those who will be a part of it in March, and I think JT, you're our point person on the SLT for that, but you're actually running or cycling the same route that Dr. King and Rosa Parks and John Lewis marched decades ago. So I mean, it's hallowed ground, and I think that everybody who's been a part of that would say it's truly an experience to be a part of it. So I know that's in March of this year. I believe the two of you will be there again this year for that. I know that they're looking to kind of build out various races as well. So I think that as they do that, we'll see how we can continue to build upon what they're doing with that event, in addition to what we're doing with vacation races. And Saucony has been a behind the scenes advocate for both the Civil Rights Race Series and for vacation races. So that's all due to what we're doing as SLT, again, to help the race car go faster. So I just want to, credit our North Star being Edward Walton for kind of having the vision and really the trust to allow us all to be a part of what he's doing to take BMR to the next level.
I know Civil Rights Race Series, they're also looking to expand into other cities that were also very vital during the civil rights era, like Memphis, I believe Little Rock, and some other cities. So hopefully Virgil will get to do that. And for us, the Lucire and I, Lucire, this will be year number 3. I think next year we'll be able to get some video, get some footage for the 2024 Selma to Montgomery relay.
Nice.
That is the goal. And
we going live. We can go live.
We can go live. Definitely at the bridge where it starts. For those who don't know, it actually starts in Selma at the Edmund Pettus Bridge. That is where the historical Bloody Sunday occurred, and the route that they marched after the Bloody Sunday was from Selma literally to Montgomery, which is 51 miles. You have a relay team, typically no more than 9 people, I think, on a team. Or we've had some ultra runners who have ran the entire 51 miles.
And I believe that's one of your bucket list items, correct, Brother Lucire, is to do the whole 51 as an ultra?
Yes, not this year, but that is a future endeavor.
Okay. I'll make sure personally that I'm there to cheer you on while you do it. And I'll say for those who have not had the opportunity yet to experience the Selma to Montgomery relay race, as far as your relay teams, there's various legs. All the legs are different distances. So, you have legs as short as 3 miles up to, I believe the longest one is, I think, just under 9. So you can kind of pick and choose what distance and then what type of terrain. If you want something hilly or flat, I mean, you got rolling hills throughout the course, but I mean, there's certain legs I think that have more elevation than others. So it really is something, regardless of your experience level with long distance running, it's something there for you.
Yeah. And it's one of our regional races for 2024. Definitely one of our annual events we will do every year. Please consider, participating in that. If not, coming down just to cheer everyone on, hang out at the finish. We had a great time this year. Last year was a great time as well. Looking forward to next year. For those who don't know, we won't have a national race in 2024. The next one won't be until 2025. So 2024 is the year of the regional races. We have several of those planned throughout the year. We haven't put that information out yet, though, have we, Bryan? We haven't put the calendar out yet. I don't think.
No, I believe Captain Daryl Randall is in the process of putting together a interactive calendar.
Okay.
That's going to go out. But to your point, I mean, I don't think that the races themselves are any secret.
Yeah.
I think in March we'll have the Selma to Montgomery race there in Alabama. July will be the Mount Rainier race in Washington State. I was kind of Googling here as we were talking. So Grandma's is actually in June of next year, and that's in Duluth, Minnesota. So that'll actually be the I'm messing everything up here. Let me start back. March is Selma to Montgomery. May is the Flying Pig, Cincinnati, Ohio. So I don't want to get in trouble with our Cincinnati guys for missing that one. So that'll be our second regional race. The third will be Grandma's there in June in Minnesota. July will be number 4 with Mount Rainier, 5K and a half marathon. We'll also have, the Shenandoah half marathon in Virginia, which is going to be in September. And we'll kind of kick everything off or wrap everything up with the Baltimore Running Festival there. And I believe that's October in Baltimore. But again, details are going to be coming. We're definitely going to be working on different items to do that. So we'll have, codes and things like that members can use. So we'll try to have, swag and other things that we'll be able to do too. But like I said, Captain Randall is in the process of putting our calendar together here to roll out here relatively soon.
So a great time to connect with some brothers in your region or other regions. Doesn't necessarily have to be in your. Well, I do plan on doing the Cincinnati Flying Pig half marathon. So great opportunity to do some races out. You get outside of your area because you get tired of running the same races in your city year after year after year. Want to go somewhere else and do a race. 1, an excuse to travel. 2, get a chance to connect with brothers in the other region. And 3, honestly, it's a great way to see a city. It really is.
Absolutely.
Definitely see a city. I call it, it's like a running tour almost. I mean, think about it. But yeah, so this has been great, Castleberry.
I'll just throw one more thing, JT.
One more thing? Come on, man.
I know we got roughly less than 10 minutes here before we kind of hit our hour mark, but I'll say, I think I've said this to a lot of our captains and vice captains, but I definitely want to say it to the larger brotherhood. We don't do races. We provide experiences, right? Mm-hmm. You can get races anywhere. I think if you talk to anybody that's done Selma to Montgomery, it's much more than just a 51-mile relay race. Or if you were down in Atlanta in October, kind of the same thing, right? It's not just a 10-miler and a 5K, right? I mean, so I think that as we continue to build out what we're doing as a brotherhood, it's really just a multitude of different experiences that you'll be able to have. And as you have those different experiences, you're just meeting and connecting with Brothers and Black Men Run, again, across various regions. So I just don't want guys who are listening to this to think that if I go to Washington State in July next year to do Mount Rainier with vacation races, that you're only going to see guys in Washington State and the West Coast, right? I think that we already have a number of captains from the East Coast, from the South, that are going to be traveling up to be a part of that. And conversely, right, I think for those who are going to be doing Selma to Montgomery, again, you're going to have, brothers traveling from across the country down to Alabama in March to be a part of that too. So I know that there's been other captains, I won't say who they are, that will say that, hey, I have guys who haven't necessarily been able to dip their toe outside of their local area and get more experiences outside of their home area. This is a great time to be able to get out there and truly have those experiences, truly see what Black Men Run is about, and truly being able to connect with other BMR brothers from across the country. You ain't gonna get this shit nowhere else. I'm gonna keep it 100.
That's right. Come experience what you really are a part of. It's more than just your chapter. It's way bigger than just your chapter.
And I'll say the other thing to that too. I'll say this as COO. I don't think any captain per se would do this, right? But I think for a lot of the guys who are able to go to some of these races and get this experience, right? I think the things you see the most is, damn, I want to take this and bring it back to my chapter, right? Or, man, I want to expose, more of the guys that I run with on a regular basis to what we're doing. I know, for example, Lucia and I, prior to the interview here, we were a part of our group run here in Detroit. And, there are several guys that are still talking about how phenomenal their experience was being in Atlanta. And, for the guys who had a little bit of FOMO not going, they'll be there in Selma for the Selma to Montgomery relay race. So I just want to say that I really want to encourage more of the membership to really consider just kind of getting out of your comfort zone and just going out and seeing a little bit more of what Black
Right.
Men Run has to offer.
It's an awesome thing, fellas.
That's
Hey,
it.
thank you for being on the show today, Bryan. We really appreciate you, Cap, and everything that you do for the organization. For all those out there, you have just experienced the Brotherhood.
Good. Yes, sir. All right.